everybody. I'm Carolyne, and I'm the co-founder of Voice ROI, and I'm here with our CSO, Danielle.
Hi, hello there. How are you today? So excited to be here.
Me too. I'm so excited, and I love talking to you about all these
We
different
talk about a
things.
lot of really fun things, don't we?
We have a lot of great conversations.
Yes.
But today, really we want to focus our conversation on the impact that AI is having in businesses, specifically in sales. And I really wanted to talk a little bit about your background. Like, what is it about Voice ROI that got you so excited? And, you know, who is Danielle? Share it with the world.
Well, Danielle has a lot of layers, but one thing I am is I have a true passion for technology. Ever since I was a little girl, always loved it. And although I never really went down that direction as a career long term, I decided to always incorporate it into my world, to always be kind of at the forefront of technology, to understand it, to utilize it, to kind of make it part of who I am. But my journey has been for the last 29 years in the dental vertical. I started off in clinical, and then I transitioned into sales and leadership. So I have a true passion and love for all things dental. And the love for Voice ROI and how this works exceptionally well is there are so many friction points and areas where the dentist has these pains and doesn't have the true solution to get to the next step, where Voice ROI is a done-for-you system which can be tailored to the needs of the dental office and the dental practice, whether that's decay and they have all of these opportunities that are just kind of living in limbo and nobody is contacting them. Or you have a situation where a patient came in and had a procedure, and then the dental assistant or the doctor is making the post-op calls. Well, as you know, we have solutions for that. So the way I look at it is this is a perfect fit for the dental vertical, along with pretty much any vertical that, you know, has something to do with answering a phone.
So you mentioned something before, friction points.
Yes.
So I think we should unpack this a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, what is a friction point for a business, and why should a business actually care about that?
Well, because it's where a lot of times it's where they fall short. It's where they lose customers. So lead capture. So that's a big one, you know, capturing leads and identifying. So if they have a website and there's a telephone number there, well, okay, who's capturing the lead? What happens once they get that lead? Where does it go? Who's following up with that lead?
Right.
You know, or missed calls. This is a big one, especially for front desk. So as you know, the human handbrake, where you are sitting.
I'm sorry, what exactly? This terminology is used a lot within Voice ROI. What is a human handbrake?
Human handbrake
what does that mean
is
for
we are human, and we fall short on steps 1 to 10. So there's always some area where we can fall short. Right. And the human handbrake is one of the things that we like to unpack with Voice ROI because we could prevent the human handbrake. So with missed calls, front desk, let's say that there's 5 receptionists. They're checking people out. They are picking up the phones. They are calling insurance companies to get a breakdown of benefits. They're doing all of these things. And then all of a sudden, the phone's ringing. And everybody else is busy doing something else. Well, who's answering that line? Oh, we'll just let it go to voicemail and we'll get back to them. Well, you could have lost a new client. You could have had a patient who was in dire need of care and it wasn't addressed. So that's where Voice ROI really comes into play. So that's a huge, huge friction point.
And there's also, the numbers are staggering. I think if you respond to a call within the first 5 minutes, your chances of converting that lead are around like 800%. If you wait 24 hours or you send someone to voicemail and then get back to them, the chances of that person actually turning into a client drop just drastically.
Of course, because they went somewhere else.
Exactly.
Probably. They're like, okay.
They just picked up the phone and went on.
Okay, on to the next. So who's going to answer the phone? That's what it comes down to. And what I love about this technology and why I feel so passionate about it is we prevent that.
Right.
You know, we help to grow businesses. We're just not an AI company that goes in and just says, okay, we have a chat box and we'll be able to, do all these little, no. We are a done-for-you tailored system. So you come to us and say, okay, here are our challenges. How are you going to solve these problems? How are you going to fix these pain points for us?
And I think it's also about showing people where their challenges are, because I don't think people even realize, which is what I think is also part of the Human Handbrake, is that people aren't even aware that these are friction points within their business because there's never really been a solution, so you're just not even aware of it.
Right. And have they tested the analytics? One of the friction points is the sales pipeline. Have they been tested to see where they do fall short?
Right.
100%. Yeah. Or data decay. This is huge in dental. So you have a patient that came in for a cleaning. Okay, they're supposed to come in every 6 months.
Oh, yes.
Well,
when was the last time you went for a cleaning, Danielle?
Actually 4 months ago, because my son is a dental hygienist and I can't get away with it. So I'm always,
Ask me when was the last time I went.
When was the last time you went, Caroline?
I think 6 years ago.
See? So you're part of the
I'm
database.
part of the decay.
You're part of the decay. No pun intended. Right. So realistically, if you had one of our digital workers in there and calling and saying, Caroline, it's time. It's been a while. We miss you. And you re-engage. That's huge. You're bringing production back into the practice.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, we're all in the money-making world here.
And the reality is that you're never going to put a paid human worker to call that list because there's enough no's and rejection, and it just doesn't make sense to do it.
Right.
But you would put a digital worker on it because a digital worker doesn't have any emotions, they don't get upset, and they can just very quickly go through that whole list.
And they're accurate.
Exactly.
That's the biggest piece because, per service is another friction point. And if you have somebody who you trust making those outbound calls or taking those inbound calls, and they do not have the accurate information, then what happens? Well, you have somebody who is upset over the information that they received because it was inaccurate. They feel confused, and they're going to go somewhere else. But the biggest thing they're going to do is they're going to complain to everybody and anybody who will hear them.
Yeah.
So when you have digital workers who are well-versed, understand, and have been tailored specifically to your requests and needs, it's a no-brainer. That's why the Human Handbrake doesn't exist in that world.
Right.
Yeah, so it's pretty amazing.
It's really exciting, and it's just wild, the potential for digital workers.
I would love for you to share, because we've had some huge successes, and I would love for you to share one of our biggest successes so far.
Yeah, so we have a client, he sells insurance, and his life prior to employing a digital worker was 12 hours a day, slogging away. He had warm leads, and he would just be on the phone all night long, in fact, because his leads were in Hawaii, and he's based in on the East Coast.
Oh my gosh.
So he'd be making calls 12 hours a day, speaking to people. People barely pick up. You know what it's like when you want to make an outbound call. He was making, I think, around 100 dials and was getting 2 people picking up per 100 dials. And now, since we've activated the digital worker makes all the dials in the middle of the night, so he's able to sleep at a regular time, makes all the dials, qualifies the person on the other side, has that whole conversation with them, books the meeting. So now when he wakes up in the morning, he wakes up to 30 to 40 booked appointments in his calendar every single week. So not only has he been able to increase his revenue and the money in his pocket, but he's also been able to buy back so much time, which is huge for his lifestyle.
Yeah, it's the quality.
Yeah.
The lifestyle quality has totally shifted for the better. And I think that that's what people need to start understanding. This is not just, something that's going, just AI gets a bad rap.
Yes,
it really does, because people think, oh, everything is AI, a chat box, this. No. This is a solution to some of your biggest pains, your biggest challenges.
And people are like, oh, I wouldn't want to talk to an AI. I'm not interested in talking to an AI. But the reality is, who wants to speak to an answer phone? Who wants to not have their call answered? And most people's experience with AI is speaking to your healthcare provider or your bank and ending up screaming at the AI because they're not listening and they don't understand. That's not what Voice ROI is.
No.
This is an intelligent, smart, and it can get you the outcome that you want in a quicker time, so that you can just move on with your life and not spend 2 hours on hold trying to book a teeth cleaning.
My favorite piece to this is, it doesn't matter what language you speak. And this is huge because there's such language barriers with a lot of calls. I know for me personally, if somebody calls me and they're from another country, I have a hard time understanding what they're saying. So the wonderful thing about this is you don't have to say, I speak Spanish. It will recognize that you are not speaking English, and it will start to communicate with you in Spanish and French and German. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, we have a client, actually. A lot of their community speaks Spanish, but the employees in the company do not speak Spanish. They have a couple that do the classes, but they don't speak Spanish. This is a school, and we were able to get the digital worker to speak English and Spanish, and in fact, the digital worker even spoke Hebrew on occasion when needed, and it was brilliant. And they were able to increase the number of people coming to their classes because of that.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's endless. What we could do. It really...
Limitless possibilities. What else is possible?
Yes. Oh my gosh. We are just tapping the surface right now. We have so many great things on the agenda and in the horizon, and we're just kind of tapping the surface at this moment. We're building an amazing sales team. I'm so excited about that.
Tell us about the sales team that we're building.
Oh my gosh, we are building, and these are talented individuals. These are individuals that have been in sales and marketing for years, have great connections, really strong pipelines, and a lot of them I have worked with in my past life. So for me, it's kind of like a full circle experience bringing them, because I know their talent and I know the quality that we are bringing into the talent pool. We have people chomping at the bit that really just want to work for Voice ROI and saying, here, put me down, please interview me. So sales, this is just the beginning. We're going to continue to grow it, and very exciting.
Cool.
So the wonderful thing about Voice ROI is we could go into all different verticals, and I wanted to kind of unpack some of the verticals that we can do. So talk to me a little bit about law firms.
With law firms, it's really exciting, actually, because one of the things that's super important in the legal space is being able to respond to a lead as soon as they make the dial. Amazing. Because, and this is what I've been told by other people, I'm not saying it, the legal space, especially PI, is a dirty business. So you want to make sure that you can get that person on the phone and signed up as soon as they call. So you don't have 2 minutes or 5 minutes to wait. But with an AI, the second somebody calls, you're on the phone, or the second someone fills out a lead at 3 o'clock in the morning or anything like that, the AI can respond to them straight away, ask them the qualification questions. If they're qualified, it can actually send over the digital contract for them to sign, and then they're signed up. So that's really exciting.
Yeah, that is exciting. And HVAC, we have a great, bunch of great leads and contacts in the HVAC world as well, which is just expanding and growing. Med spas, that is one vertical that really fires me up, because I happen to love med spas.
Oh, me
and
too.
I do feel that there's a huge window of opportunity there, because there's been many times that I've called to make an appointment and gone right into their voicemail, and then had to have somebody call me back. And, you know, those little things, they stick with you. You're like, okay, well, you know, I spend a lot of money here. I would like to have somebody at least answer the phone when I call. Right, service. I mean, medical facilities. It truly is an endless vertical possibility. It's just a matter of where we want to go and how far.
And one of the things that I think it's really important is, as businesses start implementing this, if you're not implementing it, if you're an HVAC company and you're not implementing it, and 5, 10, 20 other companies within your service area, your competition, have implemented it, they're going to be responding as soon as the client calls them, and they're not going to be able to get to you. So it's really, really important, especially if you're in a service business, that you start to think about how you're going to be implementing this in your business.
The competitive driver is a big thing right now, because they will go somewhere else. I mean, there's so many out there, so many options. So this will allow them to definitely shine in their vertical.
And one of the other applications for this in the legal space is actually onboarding, which people don't talk much about, but it's about a 30, 45-minute conversation that one of your staff members has to have with someone, especially if you're doing tort law or something like that, and you're taking, staff. You need hundreds of staff. It takes hours and hours to do this. Well, guess what? Voice ROI digital workers can have that onboarding conversation, just like you would with a human being. Capture all that information and push it into the CRM.
Yes. So building those digital workers, in-house digital workers, for us is an amazing piece, because it just allows us to scale even faster and bring more people in. And more companies. One
of the things that's also really wild is with our HVAC client, we're connected directly to their very complicated proprietary CRM. And when someone calls in, it can actually identify if they're an existing client or a new client. And if they're a new client, it creates a new record in the CRM and adds them. And so you don't have your receptionist there all day long entering boring information into the CRM.
It's amazing. I mean, it's endless possibilities. I am so excited for this venture and this partnership, and I am so grateful to be CSO of an amazing company.
Yes, and we're so excited to be working with you, and we are so grateful for you too.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Caroline.
Thank you, Danielle.
Great conversation.
Yes, absolutely.